I summoned you, please come to me. Don't bury thoughts that you really want. I fill you up, drink from my cup. Within me lies what you really want.
The clock ticked monotonously, each second stretching into eternity as Wyan paced the length of grand hallway. The opulent decor, a stark contrast to the dread that got at her insides. Taehyung had been gone for hours, longer than usual, and the silence at the mansion was a crucial reminder of her isolation. Wrapping her arms around herself, she muttered, "He should have been back by now. What's keeping him?" Her mind raced with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. She knew the life Taehyung led was fraught with danger, that every mission he undertook could be his last. Yet she couldn't quell the laugh that surged within her, a laugh that persisted despite the harshness of his words. Stopping by the window, her gaze was searching the darkness. "Please come back to me safely, Taehyung," she. The distant sound of car engine shattered the quiet, and Wyan's heart leaped. She pressed her head to her chest, trying to still the frantic beating as she rushed to the door. It must be him, it has to be. But as the minutes ticked by, there was no knock, no announcement of his return. The car drove away, leaving Wyan in the lurch of her own hope. She slumped against the door, her strength waning. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I care so much? Her voice breaking, tears threatening to spill. She knew the answer, though it was because beneath the fear and the pain there was a bond that not even Taehyung's cruelty could swear. A bond forged in the fire of their first meeting, in the depths of her heart where she held the image of the man she loved, not the mafia lord but Taehyung. I remember the good in you, the glimpse of the man who can be kind, who can be gentle. Where is that man now? I will wait for you, Taehyung, no matter how long it takes, no matter what words you throw at me, I will wait. Her voice a mix of desperation and determination. Hours passed, and with them, Wyan's resolve began to crumble. The shadows grew longer, and the light of dawn began to creep through the windows, a mocking reminder of the night's vigil. Wyan slipped to the floor, her energy spent. "Please, just give me a sign that you are all right." And then, as if in answer to her plea, the sound of the front door opening reached her ears. Wyan's head snapped up, her eyes wide with a mixture of hope and fear. She scrambled to her feet, her voice echoing down the hall. "Taehyung, is that you?" The figure that stumbled into the hallway was the shadow of the man she knew. Taehyung was wounded, his clothes stained with blood, his face itched with pain. Wyan rushed to his side, her earlier reservation forgotten. "Oh my God, what happened? Let me help you." Taehyung gritted his teeth and said, his voice a gruff whisper, "Stay back, Wyan, I don't need your pity." Ignoring his words, her hands gentle as she supported him. "This isn't pity, Taehyung, this is love, whether you want it or not." They made their way to the couch, Wyan's arms around Taehyung, holding him as much as she was able. She could feel the heat of his blood, the tremor of his body. It only stilled her resolve. "You're going to be all right. I have got you." Her voice firm, her heart. Taehyung's eyes met hers, and for a moment the barriers fell away. In his gaze, she saw the man she loved, vulnerable and in need of the care. "Hold still, please. I need to clean the wound." Her voice choked with tears. Taehyung winced as the antiseptic touched his skin, a sharp intake of breath betraying the pain he tried hard to mask off. His eyes, usually so cold and distant, flickered with emotions. "Why are you crying, Wyan? Tears won't change what I am, what I do." His voice low, the hardness in his tone clashing with the vulnerability in his eyes. Sniffing, she answered him, though her full focus was on his wounds. "I am not crying for what you do. I am crying because you are hurt, because every time you leave, I don't know if you will come back." Taehyung's gaze softened for a moment, the facade of the unfailing mafia lord sleeping. He reached out, his hand hesitantly touching hers, the contact sending a jolt through them both. You shouldn't be loving your husband just because he is your husband, Vayan. His words a whisper, laced with an intensity that veiled his usual detachment. I don't love you because I have to. I love you because of who you are, because of the good I have seen in you, even if it's buried deep. Looking into his eyes, her own brimming with a mix of defiance and devotion. Pulling his hands away, he said, the brief connection too much for him. That's good you cling into is a marriage, Vayan. It's not who I am. Dabbing gently at his wound, she stated, her hands steadier now. No, Taehyung, it's not a marriage. It's the part of you that you are afraid to show, the part that you think is weak, but it's not. It's the strongest part of you. Taehyung turned his face away, the muscles in his jaw working as he fought against the emotions her words stirred within him. Enough, Vayan. Just stop with this nonsense and charade. His voice suddenly rising. Vayan flinched, the bandage she was securing around his palm pausing mid-wrap. Her eyes with shock met his. She saw the fury there. Taehyung, I don't understand. What happened? Her voice trembling, her hands stealing. Standing abruptly, he lashed out, his movements causing him to grimace in pain. You don't see, do you? Your constant hovering, your pity, it's suffocating. It's not pity, I am just trying to help you, to be here for you. Be here for me, I have never asked for that. I don't need you, Vayan. I don't need anyone. Vayan's eyes were filled with tears, her worst fears confirmed in his cruel words. She had known Taehyung was a hard man, shaped by the brutal world. Please, Taehyung, don't push me away. Push you away. You cling to me like a shadow, expecting me to soften, to change. I am what I am, Vayan, a monster, a killer. That's the man you married. You are not a monster. I have seen the good in you, the kindness. Cutting her off, he roared, his eyes blazing. Kindness, that was weakness, a momentary lapse I regret. You mistake my tolerance for affection. It's not love, Vayan, it's an obligation. Taehyung, how can you say this? Because it's the truth. You are a fool, Vayan, a fool for believing in a lie. Leave me, Vayan. I don't want you here right now. I don't want your care, your love, your hope. Leave before I forget myself and do something we both will regret. Vayan's breath hissed in her throat. I will just go. Please be careful, Taehyung. Vayan's retreat was a desperate escape, her tears blurring her vision as Taehyung's cruel words echoed in her ears. Her breath came in ragged gaps, each one a sharp reminder of the pain that lurked in her heart. In her haste and blinded by tears, Vayan didn't see the ornate rug that lay crumpled like a discarded thought. Her foot caught the edge and she stumbled, a small cry escaping her lips. The box of medical supplies she had been clutching flew from her grasp, its content shattering across the floor with a sound that seemed to shatter the silence like glass. Vayan hit the ground hard, and the impact forcing the air from her lungs and leaving her dazed. Taehyung still standing near the sofa, his rage disappearing like smoke in the wind. He heard the commotion. His name. Why are you hurt? His voice urgent, the hardness gone. He was at her side in an instant, his hands hovering over her as if he was afraid to touch her, to cause her more pain. Wyan looked up at him, her eyes wide with shock and pain, her body trembling from the fall. Don't move, you might have hurt yourself more than you realize. His voice betraying a hint of concern he hadn't intended to show. He knelt beside her, his hands finally sitting on her arms, helping her to sit up. The anger that had consumed him moments ago now seemed like a distant memory. What were you thinking, Wyan? You need to watch where you are going. His voice now sharp, a scolding edge replacing the previous cold fury. I didn't see. You didn't see. You must be more careful. This is not a playground, Wyan. It's a house where every step must be measured. Wyan remained silent, her eyes locked on his. The anger in his voice was unmistakable, but it was a different anger, one fueled by concern rather than disdain. It was as if her physical pain had pierced through the armor of his bitterness, reaching a part of him she thought as long is unreachable. Let me see your ankles. We need to make sure it's not broken. What are you doing, Taehyung? You shouldn't touch my feet. Shut up. He cut her off while looking deep into her eyes. There was a blazing flame in his eyes that made Wyan skip a beat. Shut that foolish mouth of yours. Of course it hurts. You feel like a sack of rice. You are lucky it's not worse. He scoffed it. Why are you so enigmatic, Taehyung? In one moment, you say I am a liability. Yet another moment, you do things which makes me believe that I am more than that to you. Am I thinking too much? How can I not? When you are examining my ankle as if this small pain will shatter me, when your words hurted me 1,000 times more than this small pain? Should I cling on to your harsh words or should I cling on to this side of yours? What should I do, Taehyung? Almost a month later. Taehyung was having his breakfast when, by the corner of his eyes, he saw his wife sitting on her chair without touching her food. She was dressed in a soft lilac-colored elegant dress. Why aren't you eating? Do you want to say something? Yeah, today is my interview at the university. You remember I was applying to get selected as a professor, so I got a call from them. That's nice. Don't behave this timidly in front of the interviewers. Behave confidently, not overconfident but confident. He said without looking at her. Thank you, Taehyung, but I was wondering if you might accompany me. Why would you need me there? You aren't a kid for me to accompany you on your first day at school. I know, but it's just that I am a little nervous. It would mean a lot to me if you were there. I don't have time for such trivial matters, Vayan. And you are not known as Choi Vayan, the mob boss daughter. Bodyguards are unnecessary. So don't need to take any bodyguards with you. He said coldly, but her eyes shined with some unknown spark. So there won't be a bunch of men following me. You are not a target of anyone that you need protection, anyways. Barely anyone has ever seen your face, I believe. And one more thing. You are going there as Vayan, Miss Kim Vayan, not Mrs. So don't you dare use my name in front of anyone. Don't you dare take advantage of my name. I never intended to do so, Taehyung. I will crave my own path there, not by any leverage. Aren't you getting late now? Eat your meal and leave for your interview. He stated and got up. He took his coat and his bodyguards followed him. I will upload next part after receiving at least 20 comments.